I think you should continue. Hello. Welcome to yet another episode of Improperly Packaged, a show where we unbox topics related to movies, TV, games, and whatever. I am Jordan, and with me is Luke. Are you there? Is that you? Oh boy. You know, it's okay. All right. How are you doing, man? Great. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to see you there in your attic. Glad you make space for us. Oh, really? All right, let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see what's happening. I imagined it being like basically just what I see. Beyond what I see is just walls. Right outside the frame. Two walls. Oh, good. So good. So just the stuff. Okay, well, it's important to me that you're comfortable. Yeah, stuff. You know what? No, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this, Luke. This we're reviewing a movie today. This whatever. Sora, he's in Super Smash Brothers. This is a big day for me. I believe this will be a national holiday in my life, at least a personal national holiday. No, October 5th, the day that my two video game franchises collided. Um, right. Yeah, I mean, it's actually like there's like a funny story behind it. So, okay, this was revealed today. I watched it as it was being announced, just being like, what is this gonna be? Who is gonna be announced? Like as the video's happening, because they're like, here's this live video, and so who's gonna come out of that fire? You know, all that thing. And so me freaking out, all this stuff. But there's Sakurai talked about it in his interview, talking about like how hard it's been to get this character in there, like saying how like back when the last Smash Brothers was out, they released a like a poll, like a ballot. They called it like the Smash ballot, and everyone like basically voted who they want to be in the game and all that stuff. And so they never released the results of that. They were like, okay, they made a decision. Apparently, they talked to the president at the time, um, and they decided not to do it because they knew how because it was ended up being Square and Disney. So they had to go to both companies to do this. And so they decided not to even announce the results because they didn't want people like constantly being like, where is he? We asked for him. You said he was the number one. Now where is he? And like talking to you thought it would be like a relations nightmare, basically. It'd be like we sicked our fans on Disney and Square, basically. And so it's happening now. It's like this is the final one, the final fighter coming to Smash Ultimate, and it's crazy. It's wild. It's like it makes a lot of sense too, because like Sora being a crossover character himself, like fusing the world of a lot of like the Final Fantasy and Disney, and now crossing him into world of Nintendo, which has become this insane crossover with all these other companies. It's funny looking at the copyrights down at the bottom, seeing Mojang, Sega, Capcom, Microsoft, Square Enix, and now Disney. It's crazy. In what? Microsoft, it's well, technically Mojang I guess does owns Minecraft, and so does Microsoft, but there's Banjo and Kazooie. They are owned by Rare, who is owned by Microsoft. So Microsoft has a couple of their guys in there actually. Um, yeah, which is it's crazy. I was freaking out today. It's something I've been wanting for a while, but like kind of convinced myself that it wasn't going to happen just because like it's keeping my expectations in line. But you know, then I was like, oh my god, It was such a hype morning watching that thing. But yeah, anyways. I'm having a great day. Yeah, agreed. Absolutely. Um so yeah, man, I feel like we're going to have a lot to talk about when it comes to our review. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be a 15-minute podcast. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. They can who knows? But Luke, what have you been watching slash playing slash listening to this week? All right. Oh, this is up. That's as much we can do. Or getting copyright stricken or whatever. That would be. How much? I always want to like. I'll do a test one day to be like, how long does it take? 12.4 seconds. That sounds accurate to me. I love it. That sounds generous, I think. But yeah, absolutely. I'm sure if we played like the midnight or something, we'd have we could I don't know. Who knows if we'd even be taken down, but Taylor Swift, probably the one strum of a chord would be enough to get us kicked out or whatever. Right. Right. They figured it out with subscriptions. That's a good way to fight all that stuff. Right. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen the commercial in front of the movie. Like, you wouldn't steal a purse. You wouldn't, and that whole thing. Pirating videos is not a victimless crime. Yeah, maybe they would. You don't know. Well, I might. Of course. Really. I'll just Fireball. That does sound like a Bush song, doesn't it? I can hear it now. Fireball, fireball, or something. I don't know. That one is my favorite, actually. So You know what? Not really. I just wanted to talk about. I've been listening to the audio from the Smash reveal. I've just been. I can't. I'm gonna stop it. Who's ready to get pummeled by a giant key? Fantastic. No, not really, man. Nothing super new, but yeah. I mean, I said whenever I don't have like music to recommend, I'll recommend like a. There it goes again. It's like anytime we podcast, it's just the vibrations of my voice. Yeah, makes the Master Sword go off. Okay. I unlock the power of the Master Sword with my voice. Um, so I said I'd recommend like random show. Yeah, I'm exactly. It's um I said I'd recommend like a show or something that doesn't quite fit into something else. Something I've been watching throughout the years. I'm a fan of James Rolfe and Cinemassacre and what he kind of does. He's done the angry video game nerd forever. I find him funny, and also his like movie critiques I find really insightful and actually educational. He does this thing every Halloween called Monster Madness, where he's like, I'm going to talk about all these horror movies. Like since he's like settled down, he's like married, and he's got a bunch of kids now, and he doesn't do it like as much as he did where before he did like every day in October he'd do another movie he'd like do a retrospective on. And it's Monster Madness. They actually this because of what we're talking about, because he used to do it with like movie clips and all that stuff, and it's gotten harder and harder for him. And so, adhering to YouTube's laws, and so he this year he actually said, you know what? No, I'm just gonna put this on our website, and come to our website if you want to see it. We'll have the movie clips and talk over the movie clips and all that stuff. And I watch it almost every year. It's just a lot of fun, just kind of learning about these different movies. And this year he's doing like uh horror films around the world, so he's like talking about a bunch of different ones for that are released in other countries. But yeah, that's what I've been listening to, I guess. Yeah, dude, he's like, yeah, he's the OG as far as that stuff's concerned, and he's one of the YouTube OGs. Um, I forgot who went last week. I think I went. What have you been watching slash playing? Okay. Mm. Let's do everything. Yeah. Mm. My favorite genre. I love you. You don't love me. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to watching it. Dang. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How many players? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, you have more options. Really? Okay. Really? Oh. Yeah. The shield. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a pickup. Okay. Mm. Mm. Yeah. That's freaking awesome. Cool. Hmm. How did the servers do? Good. Yeah. 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 Great. Yeah. It's cosmetic. It's not going to kill you quicker in the game, so. Yeah, Scorpion. Put it in there. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing it. So only a couple more months here, and we'll be nipping at our heels. That and the story mode, which it seems to be at this point kind of like uncharted territory as far as people being able to play it. I guess they don't really need to do a test flight with that because it's not based on online play. So they can just say, "Here you go." Which I'm very much looking forward to that. Yeah, I really hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, I really hope that doesn't happen with Halo. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they can overcome this sort of thing. I mean, like, infamously, the Master Chief Collection had a lot of issues at launch, and now it's heralded as just one of the best deals, amazing, like, museum of all the Halo games. It's and so I mean that I think they could, if it did have some rough spots, I think I have faith they'd be able to turn around okay. But I'm heartened to hear from like you and from a lot of stuff I hear online now. Everyone's really seeming to enjoy these like test flights, so I'm looking forward to playing it myself. Oh, really? No. Oh, shoot. um, it's over, right? Okay. I'll keep my eyes open to scroll around a little bit. What else have you been doing, man? Okay. Got a few things. I'll try not to belabor it, but I have been playing a few things for sure. I've been playing a lot. I just have not really ready to fully talk about them yet because there are things that I haven't yet beaten, and there's a lot of games that I'm like, I'm gonna beat these. But I'll tell you what they are. I'm playing more of Psychonauts 2. That game is more and more enjoyable as I play through it. I'm only like really just a few hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours in. I played a few more hours since we talked about it last. It's really good. Kena Bridge of Spirits on the PlayStation. I'm playing that. I'll talk about it when I beat it. It's a shorter game, so I don't know which one's going to cross the finish line first. But I have been watching quite a bit. This, Halloween season where Amber and I like watching some, festive stuff this time of year. So we started out watching a movie that was, because I knew it was leaving HBO Max. It's one of those, HBO Max theater, same day kind of thing. But I knew it was like leaving in like probably the next week or so. So we jumped on that. Malignant is the movie. I have mixed thoughts on this movie. Because I feel like the movie itself is pretty mixed as far as like kind of how it presents itself. So the movie, I'm not going to say what it's about because it would spoil things. It's not what it seems. I'll say that. It's very much not what it seems from the trailer. Where this movie goes is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like in a fun 80s crazy like Monster Mash kind of thing that we don't really see very often now these days, where it's like, this is nuts. The only problem is it takes the first half of the movie to get there, where they don't really want to reveal what they're doing, so they kind of go they're like, oh, you think it's a tired old this genre or whatever? Well, it's not. But I still have to get through all that at the beginning where it's trying to lull me into me thinking what it is. I'm just bored during those parts. There was a part of the movie where I literally started falling asleep. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then things started happening and I was wide awake. I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. I'm laughing and I'm like, I can't believe this movie, what they're doing. When you're falling asleep, it's like trying to scare you, and then you're like, can't even be bothered. You're not like alert. You're not like, your fight or flight senses are just disengaged. But either way, I mean, that ending, or the last half, I guess, it's really great. Like, it's so funny and crazy and ridiculous and, unique, but I can't recommend it, I think, just because that first half is just so obnoxious to get through. It's just like, I don't care about this at all. And then like when that next half kicks in, I'm like, oh my gosh, this movie like could have been at least more entertaining, at least this entertaining. It didn't have to show all this stuff, but it like became wildly entertaining out of nowhere, but not through enough of it. We're watching the Fear Street thing on Netflix. I don't know about this, but there's three movies. We watched the part one, I guess. I don't know. Did they all release at the same time? I honestly don't even know. But this is a weird thing. It's I didn't know this, but it's based like R.L. Stein did this, but this is very much like an R.L. Stein. Is he's like, let's do this more for adults. Like this is R rated or MA or whatever. But the weird thing is, watching it, it still feels like Goosebumps in a way, to where it's like really cheesy and just like there's some fun in that. But sometimes I don't know, where I'm just like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, that was fun, that was energetic, and at other times I'll be like, that's really stupid. You know what I mean? To where almost like I can't even deal. A lot of, in that first part, there's a lot of cool 90s music, but they do this thing where they'll like start the 90s song, and like Bush, for instance, or like they started playing Machine Head. I was like, yeah, because it's set in the 90s. And I was like, this is awesome. But they do this thing where they like will play 30 seconds of it, or like maybe even a minute, and then they'll just whoop, but they're on to a next one. It's like you're driving in a car with someone who can't decide what song they want to listen to on their 90s playlist. It's kind of frustrating, because I'm like, yeah, Radiohead, and then they'll just move on. I don't know. It's whatever. But really, what I want to talk about, the big one that I've kind of watched, it's a show on Netflix, or a limited series, I guess, called Midnight Mass. So, have you seen this on there as you were scrolling through or anything like that? Netflix, yeah, it's a Netflix one. Um, this is Mike Flanagan. Yeah, it's a Mike Flanagan joint. The Mike Flanagan is the guy who he did The Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, and he also did a few Stephen King adaptations. He did Doctor Sleep and Gerald's Game. I think he's fantastic. I think he's an amazing writer and an amazing director. Like, amazing. Like, I don't use that word lightly. He is fantastic. Um, and so this one, like all those other movies and shows, they're based on something. You know, they're either based on a Stephen King work, or, you know, Haunting a Hill House is an old novel, and Haunting a Bly Manor is an adaptation of The Turning of the Screw. So these are pre-existing stories that he's just kind of did a twist on. Midnight Mass is one of his few works that's wholly original, that he wrote he did the screenplay, and it's not really based on anything. Um, Man, it's hard to really talk about this, because I do want to be really careful not to spoil it, because like saying what it's about, because the show doesn't really reveal what it's about and what's going on until like several episodes in. You're not meant to be like, oh, this is something about that. But what I will say is, it is a departure from what he usually does. He usually deals with like ghosts and you know, the Haunting Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor. This is a different threat, um, rather than this stuff. But it's such a unique take on it that it feels original, even though it's a real classic kind of threat, is what I will say. A real classic kind of threat, but it's utilized in a way that I haven't seen done like this or this well in a long time. But, you know, what can I say? I mean, the show is kind of a slow burn almost, but you're so invested in the characters as you're like getting to what's going on. It's not really a problem. Like, I didn't watch a trailer or anything, because I was like, I saw someone online saying, don't watch a trailer. I was like, okay, I like Mike Flanagan. I was planning on watching this anyways. I won't. And so I didn't know anything about it. And like Amber, as we were watching it, like we were getting to the first episode, she was like, you know what this is about? And I'm like, nope. Like, 'cause all that's happened. There's like a few weird things happening here and there, but we're mainly like learning about the characters and their struggles, and this island, this small island that they live on. But yeah, I mean, the show gets really intense towards the end. Like, I wouldn't even say in a way where it's like, not in a way where like people are getting tortured, or, you know, scary per se, but there's one scene that just, while it was happening, I was on the edge of my seat. It was one of those, the show does something that I think Mike Flanagan does really well. He'll do these long scenes, which I really like. I really like where he'll stick you in a place and he'll be like, stay there for a while until it's over, until it's done. And there's not a lot of quick cuts. Like moments don't end too quickly. So like if two characters are having a conversation, it's a lot of writing. There's a lot of words being spoken. There's a lot of monologues in this show. Honestly, there's a lot of monologues. The times where I was like, ooh, another monologue. Here we go. But by the time it's over, I'm like, geez, that was really well written and really well acted. Man, that was good. The show, I do want to talk about this. It talks a lot. The show's about religion basically, and you know, as someone who is religious, that's always something to me, especially when it's like Hollywood or Netflix or whatever. When they do it, it's usually a lot of bad faith arguments. And, you know, one person will say something telling off the religious person or whatever, and they're just like, I never thought about that before, you know, and it really is obnoxious to me and it feels really bad faith. But this show, I really do respect the conversation that it has, you know, even regardless of where I come down in my personal beliefs. I appreciate the fact that a conversation will happen between, say, in like someone who's explicitly not religious or you know, atheist, or we're talking to someone who is religious and they have criticisms or whatever. It is a genuine back and forth where I don't feel like at the end of I'm not like, well, that's not how someone like me talks. Like, we don't believe that, or we don't. No, I actually do feel like there's some really good discussion that happens. And I feel like it's healthy and I feel like it's really well done. And I see it so rarely, like so rarely. It's either going to be like in a Christian movie, it's going to be someone preaching right at you, or if it's not, it's going to be someone like just saying how horrible religion is, and that will be it. There's no counter argument. But this show is respectful in a way, even though it obviously has some criticisms. It also shows value as well. And so I really appreciate that. Like Mike Flanagan, like in most of his work, the focus isn't on the supernatural threat or whatever. Like, even though Haunting a Hill House, there's a haunted house, but it's the show's about family drama, family trauma too. And just like that, this show is about overcoming grief and about forgiveness and about, you know, being misled and, you know, and about faith. And all that other stuff is happening too. It's like 100% both. It's really crazy. And yeah, I do highly recommend it. It just, there's a few parts towards the end that are really intense. Like they're intense. They're just a scene where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I am nervous watching this, just like, because it just put me in that room. Oh, that the scene was happening. I was like, this is amazing and this is incredible and this is some of the best TV I've seen, but I am so uncomfortable right now. But yeah, it's 7 episodes long. A lot of the actors who are in it, Mike Flanagan reuses a lot of his actors all the time. Like it's almost like, and it feels like almost like an anthology series sometimes, because you'll see his characters just pop up over and over and over again. Like even more than like Nolan, you know, he'll just be like his wife is in like every single thing that he does. And like, there'll be several characters who have been in a bunch of stuff that I've seen, whether it was Dr. Sleep or Haunting a Hill House or Bly Manor or Gerald's Game. There's just, it's kind of cool actually, because you see him do completely different performances, which is nice. But sorry, I had a lot to say about that. I feel like I don't want to say any more out of fear. I don't want to spoil anything. Because yeah, I think going into the show unspoiled is probably a good idea. I feel like even some of the Netflix marketing, like the poster, I'm like, one of the posters they use, I'm like, wow, that in my opinion, kind of gives away a lot, but I don't know. But anywho, that about does it for me, man. Sorry, I talked for probably like 100 minutes. Yeah. Speaking of which, I forgot about this. I started like, because horror games are a completely different thing for me. They're not as accessible. Like horror movie, I'll be like, okay, let's see what you got. Game, I'm like, oh boy. And so, Until Dawn's been free on PlayStation for a while. And last year I tried playing it. And this, you know, sometimes I'm like, do I want to get over the feeling of being scared because this is so good? But in this game, I'm so annoyed by it. I can't play it. It's not. I'm not playing it. It's done. Because one, it relies 100%. It is only scary because of jump scares. Not like I'm afraid of, like, I'm scared of what you're talking about, or there's a threat that I'm afraid of. No, like dropping a pan in the kitchen. You're just like, oh, you're just like annoyed more than anything. And the characters are exactly what you were talking about before. Some of the dumbest characters you could, and annoying characters you could possibly imagine. I'm like, ugh, it's not good. And so, no, I will be deleting that from my hard drive. I'm not gonna play that game. It is annoying, obnoxious. Anyways, speaking of which, I believe we have a movie review to get to. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Yeah. Did you think that the first Venom would get a sequel? Yeah, they did. Yeah, it did really well. Like, that's the thing. That first movie did very well. And you know what? This movie did very well. It made a lot of money. Like, it's one of the, I think things are ramping up as well. People are going back and going to movies. And so I think yeah. I feel like every time a new big one comes out, we're getting another article saying, oh my gosh, record breaking this year. Exactly. And so good for that. That's good. Movies being seen by people in theaters. That's a good thing. But Luke, what did you think of Venom Let There Be Carnage? I don't know. Okay. Mm-hmm. The food to feed you? You ungrateful? Oh, yeah. And Frenchy fries. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. I mean, a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this movie, it's especially, he's very much like a passenger in this movie. He doesn't have very many choices to make. But like, I, how many times have you seen Tom Hardy do comedy? There's a lot of comedy he has to do here. I haven't seen him in very many comedies. I mean, this, yeah, yes, yes. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, the only other thing I can really even think of is that This Is War, that one we was in with I really didn't like that either. Yeah. Um yeah, man. Yeah. Man, yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Very charitable of you, Luke. Yeah. Nice try. That was a nice try, I think. Mhm. Yeah, I actually agree with that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's not like a Wonder Woman 84 problem where you're like, I don't even know how to make that crazy crap work. Where this is like, yeah, the story beats are there with this movie. It's just the execution, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I think it will surprise. Good things. All right, good things. I enjoyed a lot of the visual effects in this movie. I mean, there were some visuals that I enjoyed watching. I don't think any of it's groundbreaking, but whenever Carnage was doing its thing, I was like, that's cool to look at. I think that's really cool. Um, I would say, okay, so there's a lot of things in like superhero movies. Sometimes they'll like build up a fight, and then like between two characters, like Batman v Superman, and by the time they get around to it, it's like really disappointing. If you come into this movie looking just to see Venom and Carnage fight, I'd say you get that. At least you do, whether you care or not, I don't know, but you get that fight. And they do. I feel like they spend the time you would like on it. I will say that because there's a lot of bad superhero movies where like it's like almost like a staple of a bad superhero movie. There's the fight you want to see, and then the end comes and it happens in 2 seconds. Fan Four Stick, Elektra, and Incredible Hulk, not Incredible Hulk, Hulk. Sorry, a lot of these and built up to a fight that lasts 2 seconds. So at least the title fight in this, it happens and you felt like it's a thing that happened and not just you blinked and the movie's over or something. So there, that's a thing. You know, that's a thing. That's not bad. I would say that's a good thing to do in a movie where you're looking forward to two characters fighting. Yeah. Oh, and I will say this. For the mid-credit scene, I'll just say if you're a superhero fan, the mid-credit scene, it's a must-see. It's a must-see. It doesn't make anything that came before it good or worthwhile, but that in-credit scene, if you're invested, and I'm just gonna say superhero stuff, it's a must-see. Yeah. You know, I mean, this movie. Sorry, I'm trying to think of a way to say this without sounding stupid or too like I don't know, but the critic score is like in the high 50s, mid 50s in the yeah. That's like, you know, you view that. I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm shocked that it's so high, is what I'm saying, Luke. I really didn't like this movie. I really didn't like it. Again, this isn't up there with the worst. This isn't up there with Fantastic. Again, as I always say, what is? But it's bad. Like, you were talking about it a little bit. I mean, honestly, yeah. What I had to say is, yeah. I mean, there was a fight at the end, and it felt like there was a fight at the end. Some of the visuals were cool, and the mid-credit scene is a must see if you're invested in this when the superhero movies today. So, other than that, I mean, I honestly okay, and I'll add a couple more things here. Sometimes I don't know what to think of Woody Harrelson. Sometimes I'm just like, what am I watching? And other times I am kind of laughing here and there. And I can only imagine that it's intentional. Like yeah, I'd say so. It seems like he's having fun, right? It does seem like he's just having a fun time. So it's not like I blame him. It just sometimes it's so over the top, 11,000%. I laugh and so every now and then it'll get that out of me. So there's that. Wow. I mean, dude, this is for me. This I see. I'm not a fan of that first Venom movie, but I watched it and I did not have the experience I had watching this. Like watching this, yeah, I could. There were times in this movie where I never do this. Even if I'm not enjoying the movie, I rarely do this sort of thing where I looked over to Amber and was just like, gave her just the stare, like, are you freaking kidding me? Why is this happening to us? You know, I was just looking over like, what in the world? It I know that's unfortunate. You know, I feel like he's so talented. Maybe directing just isn't his thing. I've seen the Jungle Book movie. It's okay. It's fine. It's leagues better than this. But I don't know. I think there's more problems in this movie than this too. I think the writing is a huge issue. Mm. You know, did they do the dialogue? Okay. Man. Story's fine. If that was him, then he didn't screw up the story, I guess. It really, I mean, yes. That's the worst part of this movie by far is the dialogue. The script is horrible. It- yeah. It's yes. Yes, Luke. It's something that if you turned it in to, like, if you were in film class, not that I would know, but if you turn it into anyone in to get a grade, it would be like you get an F because zero effort. Zero effort. It's like they wrote it in one go. It's like the first thing that popped into their head. Like, what's the punchline to this joke? I don't know that. And they just threw it on there without move on, you know? It's what? Yeah. Right. Yep. Yeah. I'm ready for this to end. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 It's because one of those things, man. I mean, it's like when you get some of these, like, it's not like sometimes when you get a movie that's like just one of a million sequels, like a lot of people are disappointed in Age of Ultron. And I was there with them, like when it came out, I was like, there's some things here that I don't really like, and it's kind of disappointing in a way. But you know, movies and movies and movies came out afterwards. And you go back and I can enjoy this movie a lot more because other better things came out later. But with this, it's like the adaptation is off. It's just like you can't get behind the character at all. So no matter how, I don't know what they would have to do to, I don't know, but yeah, it sucks because you're not going to get another Venom or another version of Venom till whoever, even if this fails, which the thing is, we could get so many more of these. These movies do well. Enough people seem to like them that it's kind of just going to keep happening. is the thing. And yeah, like I go to work and I talk to people and I'm the odd man out. I'm like, no, I really didn't like it. And they're like, why? It was great. And I'm just like, "Ugh," and I don't want to like poo poo on anyone's like parade or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, it's like this is something I've noticed. It's like we haven't gone into spoilers yet. Usually we're really quick to like talk about generalities about the movie and then move on to spoilers. But for me and seemingly for you too, it's like these flaws are so just in your face. You don't have to even get into the nuance to like uncover why the movie doesn't work, you know? Uh, you know, it's one of those things where I'm not mad anymore. It's like going into this movie. Yeah, admittedly, I was like, okay, Jordan, you don't like this version of Venom. There's the whatever that buddy thing that they do that I don't like. It's gonna be in this movie. Let's try to let that go and just try to laugh. Like when the movies says something funny, just laugh at it, regardless of the fact that like that's not Venom. You know, that whole thing. Just let it go. But crap, I would have loved to do that. But no, the movie can't even tell a joke. It's like I don't know, being written by like someone who's just not funny. It's so strange, you know? Yeah, that might be the better option instead of seeing it for that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is one of those. Yeah. Yeah, right. Right. It seems like Naomi Harris, it seems like she has two modes. She's like just an amazing, like subtle sometimes and a great dramatic actor. And then she's just in over the top, through the roof, wild eyed crazy. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about Calypso in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. What in the world? Yeah. Which one's which? Yeah, that's what she wants to do. That's really funny. I mean, yeah. It's like, fine, I'll do this HBO series. Fine, I'll be in a James Bond. Yeah. Who knows, man? She does not need this. Yeah. She does not need this. But anyways, um, is there anything else non-spoiler that you want to say without bringing up? There's some specific parts of the movie I do want to mention. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be in spoilers for long. Is there anything that you want to bring up? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Spoilers. Here we go. Spoilers for Venom. Let there be carnage. Okay. So something that really got me. I couldn't believe it. So the trailers are were out for this movie, and there's a line in the trailer that every time I heard it, I was like, awful. Yeah. There's that scene in the trailer where Venom encounters Carnage, and he's like, "That is a red one." I hated that line in the trailer, but in my mind, I was like, surely they're gonna go more into it than that, right? Than like why that sort of symbiote is a threat. That is all we get, Luke. That's a red one. That is like a child playing with their action figures saying, "Oh no, it's a red one." Like, because he doesn't really know the lore or whatever. So he just kind of makes it up on his own. That's like what that was. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's all they're going to say. That's all they're going to say. Yeah. Oh my God, Luke, that scene. That was one of the scenes where I looked over to Amber, just like, the party scene. It's embarrassing. Nothing that was said was funny when he was like up there making a speech, and like I heard some people in the audience laugh, and I was like, what did he even say? Was there a joke there? Was there anything funny that he said, or just the situation is so ridiculous that you're laughing? Because I'm groaning. I'm just like, oh, what are we doing here? It's, yeah, man. This, and it's just stuff like that, just over and over and over, where things are just said, and it's like, like like in a lot of sitcoms, like really bad sitcoms, like maybe even think of like a bad episode of Full House, where they'll say something, and you're like, then it's a joke, but it's not funny, like at all. But the canned laughter, I'm just like, that was just, I don't even know if it was a joke. It's just, it's like that over and over and over again. Really. Yeah, and they make fun of that in WandaVision too, where it's just like, was that even a joke? You're just over it. I guess maybe people just didn't know how to react. And they were just like, what am I gonna do? I guess I gotta laugh, What else am I gonna do? I'm here to watch a movie. I don't know. Right. Right. No, yeah, I can't believe how on the like that we are like some weird minority. I mean, we're clearly not a minority, but like the fact that we run into so many, and there are so many who are just like, what? That was awesome, you know? And if you're coming into this, yeah. You know, and if you're coming into this, if this is your first episode, your first time around us or something like that, don't come here thinking, oh, these guys just don't are snooty and they don't like a good time. They can't just have fun. No, I mean, we like movies like Jungle Cruise, which isn't like brilliant, but it's like, oh yeah, this is an entertaining movie. It's nothing profound, but it's fun. You know, sure, we can get behind that stuff. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And if someone was like, "Oh my God, Army of the Dead, I love that," I'd be like, "Oh, okay, you know, okay, sure." Yeah, but with this, it's just, yeah. There's something here that just it repulses me. Not like I'm, but like I'm just repulsed from it. Just like everything it tries to do, I'm just like, no, absolutely not. Let's talk about the end credit scene, Luke. I don't think there's much more we can say unless you've got something. Yeah. Yeah. You hate good people doing bad things. Right. In your eyes, at least. Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's like an intelligent predator behind Venom. Like there's something that is there's a cunningness to him that's just doesn't feel like it's there. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like almost like you got this Scooby Doo kind of character, like the like mixed with like a party animal or whatever. It's obnoxious, and so when we get to this end, you know, and I mean, if you're here and you're in spoilers, you know, or if you're not, you have no intention of seeing the movie. Here we go. Here it is. Venom is going to be crossing over into the MCU, at least for our No Way Home outing with Spider-Man. At least it's not speculation that whatever happens, whatever spell is cast at the end, you kind of just teleport into another world where we see J. Jonah Jameson on the screen and Tom Holland Spider-Man. So yeah, I mean, Luke, go ahead. We've joked about this. I think we joked about this during we were talking about the trailer and our expectations for this movie. Um, what what do you think is what do you make of this, Luke? I don't know. I like that's the thing. It's like everyone, a lot of us are talking about, you know, the Raimi verse and Amazing Spider-Man and all that stuff, and then here we go. Hey guys, it's me, Venom. You love me. Here I am, Sony's property. Yeah, right. No Way Home. Yeah, it's really confusing. Yeah, it's really easy to mix up with Far From Home. Yeah, yeah. These last two in particular, you know, like Homecoming kind of sticks out, but No Way Home and Far From Home, like they feel way too similar when you say it. Yeah, I mean, I just as far as how like at the end there when he's like that guy and like sees Spider-Man as if that's supposed to mean something to this character who's never met him. It's like, I mean, yeah, Spider-Man's in a suit, but like this Venom, it's like this Venom is like kind of like similar looking to Spider-Man in a way, but not in the same way where he has like a symbol on him, like Venom post taking over, you know, Peter's body or whatever, or being his symbiote. It's kind of just this weird thing where I'm like, he has no relation to Peter Parker or Spider-Man. So I have no idea why there would be any significance to him being like, oh boy, Venom and Spider-Man. It's like at this point, it doesn't seem like they'd want to fight each other, really. I mean, unless, you know, it was like you're hurting people or whatever, that whole thing. But again, as you said, there's so much going into this. I have no idea where Venom's gonna fit in. You can't help it. You really can't. Right. It that sort of thing, it's really hard because I'm really excited about this movie, and there's a lot of things that they are stuffing into it that I really do want to see. I do want to see a lot of these crazy villains pop up. I do want to see the other Spider-Man, and I do want to see maybe Daredevil or something like that show up. But for me, yeah, Venom was for like, I don't know, maybe it is just the fact that I don't like him. And in a way, I'm like, no, Tom Holland, you do not associate with the likes of this, you know? Maybe it is a little bit of that. But I also do feel like, yeah, like, where do you even fit that? You know? I don't know what's going to happen in this movie at all, but I don't know like what there is to fit what in, but still, I don't know anything that would fit that in. I don't know. I don't know, man. Hmm. Yeah, like a long form thing where you just pour all this money and say, "Hey, now everyone needs to have Disney Plus." You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, I think 6. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Okay, so I said that this was a must see. Like this was a must see, and here I am being like, I don't want that to happen, really, or I don't know if I want that to happen with him going over into doing whatever he does in No Way Home. I have to like always pause before I say it. Um, Far from No Way Home, of course. But that being said, it is like whoa, like a whoa kind of moment because as much as we're all anticipating a lot of these Sony properties like Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield coming into this, it is a crazy thing to see it like being teased in another movie that is not connected to the MCU, and then all of a sudden, boom, hey, we're in the MCU. That's crazy. That's a crazy thing you don't really see very often in cinema, and it's cool. Like in that way, it's cool just because it's like, whoa, like it's Sora coming to Smash. It's as crazy. Not that I care for Venom the way I do Sora, but it's in that way where you're just like, wow, what can't they do? You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, man, dude. I mean, maybe. I mean, the other like I joked about this when we were talking about the trailer, but another way to see it is like Venom is the Uber driver who will drive the Tom Holland back to Sony exclusivity. And as I said, Venom and Spider-Man waving goodbye in a Doctor Strange portal. See you later. I hope it's the opposite. Yeah. Yeah. I really hope that's the case. Venom, please do not kidnap our Spider-Man. Please don't spider nap him. Oof. Right. Yeah. No kidding. Frenemies. Yeah. 100%. Well, next week, man, we'll be picking up our PP7s or whatever and heading into the final chapter of the Daniel Craig James Bond. Supposedly. Is it PP9 or PP7? What does he have? No. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, it's finally here. And after watching trailer after trailer after trailer throughout the years. PPK, thank you. Oof. Embarrassing. Yeah, well, that's what we're doing for doing some No Time to Die next week. Because there definitely is no time to die. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been rewatching Daniel Craig Bonds. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week. And just to prepare myself for this, I'm officially excited again. And it's a good feeling to have. So, did they? From what to what? Huh. I will be shocked. I'll scream in the theater when I see it. Ah! Everyone will be very startled. Anyways, this episode was not 15 minutes. That's crazy. So, yeah, we'll see you next week.